didn't weigh in. I did not weigh in because I was afraid of what it would say.
Oh yeah, because you had something bad.
Man, that's stressing.
Were you stressing? From the cleaning?
No, last night.
Oh, I didn't. I made crab bombs.
No.
And then I didn't even make the crab bombs. I just left them in a bowl and put them in the fridge. But I still lost, which was kind of fun. What did you eat yesterday?
Taco, meat, cheese, ranch dressing.
That's all okay. Technically.
No, but at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I can't remember.
So, no.
Robert and I got to experience all of our natural reactions to when we had to fight. And our desire to eat crap and emotional responses, and learned rather quickly that we still have many, many things that need to be worked on. So, that's a thing that happened.
Yay, us.
But I weighed in, I moved the scale twice. The first time it was 191.0, and the second time it was 191.4, which are both less than I have so far.
Yeah, man.
So I knew I did pretty good, because even though I had like what I did is I made the provolone cheese hard tacos.
Yeah.
So I used 2 pieces of provolone because 1 piece gets too holy. And I baked them at 350 for probably 20 minutes. And then I took them out, and when they were cool enough, I put them between the slats of a upside down oven pan so that they would be taco shaped. And made some homemade taco meat because I realized I didn't have any tacos either day, so I had to kind of throw a bunch of crap together.
Oh, it wasn't bad.
And it was, I added water to kind of help steam it all in, because before that it was like, too much. But after the water, for whatever reason, that works well. And then cheese, and then I made a dip of sour cream and picante to dip it in, which was good. And then I made chocolate peanut butter fat bombs. I have like a base fat bomb recipe, and then just whatever I'm in the mood to add is what I add. And this time I add the powdered baker's chocolate, 1 scoop of powdered peanut butter, and
That's pretty much it, wasn't it?
also, but it seemed like there was something else in there.
Stevia.
Butter and sour cream, butter and cream cheese and oil. That's the base. And then, yeah, I guess just the chocolate and peanut butter and the stevia, of course. So, and they weren't too overly sweet. I could have added a whole nother dropper of stevia, but I thought that might have been over the top.
That would have been a little much for me.
Well, and I think that the less sweet it is, the less likely I am to like binge eat it.
Yeah.
Which is definitely something I need to not do. So, we got Daisy, and it was successful.
Woohoo!
And no, I don't think she was cold. I think she knew that we were fighting this morning, so she was trying to bring it over.
Well, she was acting weird. She normally didn't jump up on me when we were out walking.
I've never seen her do that. Dogs are very intuitive. It is what it is. I'm waiting for the weather to warm up a bit before I full on get her a shade, because she's so freezes to death.
Exactly.
You know? So she needs one really bad. But 18 degrees is not the time you want to shave your dog. Although the walks would be shorter.
I don't even shave my head at this temperature. Which, it really looks like it needs
It's
it.
amazing. Don't disparage the hair. You're like Trump in that as well. Just think you're the hair. So anywho, we finally got our butcher box last night. We got a call. I had to go to the ground office of FedEx and talk to the guy there, because of course FedEx on the website or on their header number would not give me the direct phone number to that office. So I had to drive over.
It was a third thought. About a third of it was thought.
Yeah. but they were all, none of them, I mean...
There were a couple that were completely thawed.
Yeah.
And then there were a couple that there were a few that were completely frozen. But overall, I think about a third of the meat was thawed.
But do you think it was all above the required temperature? Or below the required temperature?
Well, the issue is I do not think it reached over 40 degrees. So I don't think we have to worry about bacteria growing. But at the same time, we technically can't refreeze any of that stuff without destroying the fibers of the meat, changing the flavor. So now we have a low quality meat. I mean, yeah, it's grass fed and it will have all the nutrients and stuff in it. But it'll be slightly wonky in the cooking process or be freezer burned because of the refreeze.
So, a little disappointing, but actually I'm just really glad that we got it last night. Because the guy, when I was talking to him on the phone at the office, and I guess he was in the building next door, he was like, well, we'll look for it and we'll give you a call in the morning. And I'm like, no, seriously. If you find it tonight, you need to call me tonight and I will come get it. Because one more day and all of that shit will be bad.
Yep.
Cussed.
You need to cuss.
Yeah. So, luckily he called at, maybe 5:30? We had to brave 5 o'clock traffic to go get it.
Yeah. Right after we got home.
Yep.
I mean, we weren't even really settled in yet.
Yep.
We just left there.
Yep.
Well, we got there at about 4:30.
Home?
The FedEx ground the first time.
Oh, yeah.
We got there about around 4:20, 4:30.
Yep.
And they had to go back at 5:30. Which is not that far. And we live right off the highway, so.
Yeah, we just didn't get to take the turnpike home, so.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So it worked out. I'm just... Because, seriously, this was the first time that we got all beef. I mean, you saw, if you watched the video, the entire box was nothing but beef and a little bit of...
A bag of salmon, and that's what I really worry about.
I know. Did you freeze that?
I had to freeze it.
Yeah,
Dude, there's no way we can eat that much salmon in a week. And it was all thawed.
I'm thinking I will email them back and explain to them that everything was thawed and ask if it turns out that any of it is spoiled by the time we eat it.
Well,
What do you think I should do?
I think you should call them and you should complain about the fact that you have a bunch of thawed meat when you ordered frozen meat.
Yeah.
And explain to them that you had to refreeze all that fish.
Yeah.
No, because that's a serious quality issue. I mean, I don't buy refrozen food at the grocery store.
No.
If it's got ice crystals and stuff on it, like it's been frozen and thawed and frozen, I don't buy it.
Because it messes with the structure.
Right. It breaks down the cell membranes and everything. It gets all of the fats and flavors out of it. And it tastes freezer burn. And, it would be one thing if I'm going in and buying discount meat at a grocery store that I know what's happened to it. But no, we pay $300 to have high quality meat shipped to our door. And they were unsuccessful in that process. It was no longer high quality by the time it got to our door.
It technically was not their fault. It was weather related. Here in our city, FedEx couldn't deliver it. So technically it was FedEx's fault, but FedEx isn't going to, reimburse us.
I call bullshit on that whole story. Yes, it's frozen lake.
Everything is frozen.
But I drove around all weekend. I do not see why FedEx couldn't drive.
I agree with that, actually. It's all frozen. It was half frozen yesterday, and now it's all frozen today.
And yes, I know how hard the job is. I've been a delivery driver. And delivering crap on icy streets is not fun.
No, it's not.
But it can be done.
Well, and you have a truck that I would think is made for that. I think.
I hope so. I mean, they drive all over the country in all kinds of weather. You think they have some vehicles that can make it.
Well,
but I mean, if they're not delivering in Oklahoma City when there's a light dusting of ice on the ground and less than an eighth of an inch of snow on top, what do you think happened in Michigan, Boston, Chicago this week?
None of them got their shit. None of them.
I mean, did FedEx just shut down?
Nope. Well, and it's funny because, you're a parcel service. And it's your job. Your one and only fucking job.
No. And those of you working for FedEx that are upset or working for UPS and you're going, you do not understand how hard this job is. I will simply tell you, try to deliver poinsettias in below zero weather.
Yeah, and
for Christmas.
When they're not allowed to touch weather like that.
Yeah.
And somehow you have to get them from the car.
Can't get cold. Okay? So I understand the difficulty of what you're talking about.
But it is doable.
Yeah.
When it has to be done. And I'm sorry, but my attitude is if you see a box that has a butcher box on it, you know full well that that's nothing but meat.
Yep.
And you can't just leave it willy-nilly.
I mean, I guess you could leave it in the truck, but turn your AC, or turn your heater off.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep it frozen.
Leave it out in the warehouse where it can be cold. Which, I feel like they had to have done something like that, or either that or just the cold of everything kept everything else kind of at a decent temperature.
The dry ice, freezing it as solid as they freeze it, 2 or 3 days, you would even need ice.
Yeah.
But after that, I mean, eventually it's going to get warm up, and obviously they didn't have it sitting outside because it was thawing.
Yeah, and there were all of the dry ice containers were empty.
No.
And usually when we get it, by the time we get it, it's at least a little bit.
Yeah, you still got to be careful not to burn yourself in the dry ice.
Yeah.
Not a problem this time.
Not even a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see how this week goes and find out whether or not it's actually going to kill us or not.
And what's crazy is we both like ButcherBot. We've never had another problem with them. And we both like FedEx, and we've never had a problem with them. It's not like UPS. UPS, I normally have a pain in the butt getting my stuff.
UPS never wants to deliver it. They just want to drop that little piece of paper.
Yeah, they drop off a piece of paper and tell us to come get it, and they're not closed.
No, and they never even bother to, knock. They just leave the paper there.
Because there are days I'm home, and I get a paper on my door.
Yeah, no knock, no ring up the doorbell.
And I'm sitting at a computer under the doorbell.
Yeah. And FedEx is really good about it normally, so it's just crazy that this has been such a mess.
Yep. But yeah,
that's what weather, and we've told you all that before. Weather in Oklahoma makes people crazy. They do dumb things. They can't drive. They can't do anything. So.
And there'll be hardly any ice on the ground, and everybody will call everything off because the weatherman said there was going to be ice on the ground.
Oh yeah, they'll close.
And then there would be an inch of ice on the ground that the weatherman didn't predict, and so everybody will get up and act like they're going to work. And I'm just like, use some common sense. Don't just listen to other people's opinion.
Yeah, that's the problem with Oklahoma. We're a bunch of followers. There's not a whole lot of leaders here that just do what they're doing.
I can't believe you said that.
All right, y'all.
It's that small town attitude, people.
The Oklahoma FedEx ButcherBot rant has ended. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.